retake. Okay, my math, volume 2, 4th grade. Okay, chapter 14, lesson 5, measure angles. The protractor is a tool used to measure angles. The length of the rays does not affect the measure of the angle. This is a protractor. All right, so example 1. Henry drew the angle shown. That one, I suppose. Place the center of the protractor on the end point of the angle with the straight edge along the way. Okay, a real protractor would have a little hole right here in the middle, and it's called the center point. This is where you would line up the end point of the angles. Okay, and the line that you would line it to is this one, not the bottom of the protractor. Okay, so what you do is you would place this here, line up the endpoints, and then this line has to match exactly that line, okay? And then you look to see where this one's headed. Sometimes you have to use a ruler to be really precise, but I just, a ruler's sometimes not able, so you just kind of extend the line with a pencil. Okay, and there's two sides. It's either 60 degrees or 120. So it matters by looking which way the angle opened. It opened to the right. So you have two ways to measure, and this one should be pointing to 0. So is 0 going to be the bottom measurement or the top measurement? So hopefully you're all saying the bottom, because this would be your 0 right here. I wish they would put a 0 there and make it easier. Okay, so this is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So this angle is probably, if I'm right, 60 degrees, okay? And you would write 60 degrees in there like that. And this one should be the same as that. Let's measure it just to make sure. Again, you put the end point, and you also have to make sure you have the protractor reading right, because it's really easy to have it backwards. Okay, so you got to notice, because it's transparent, so you want to make sure your numbers are correct and it's on the right. So again, you line up the center, okay, with the end point, and then this line has to line up. So is that okay? No. No, if you measure your angle like that, it's going to be wrong. So you want to get it right perfectly, as perfect as you can. And again, where's it pointing to? Should pointing back to that 60. Okay, so there it is. All right. So 60 degrees. All right, so this angle and this angle are the same. And again, you can tell from our last lesson, we learned about acute angles and we learned about obtuse angles. We also learned about right angles. Remember, acute angles are 0 to 89 degrees, okay? So if you look at this, because everything is around that right angle, which is an L. So if you just even look at this, you could tell this is the L. So this angle is less than the L, which means it's an acute angle, okay? If it obtuse means it's greater than the L mark, okay, which means it's over here. So that would give you a degree of 91 to 179 degrees. Okay, because 180 is a straight line, which would then be a straight angle. Okay, all right. Anyway, you'll learn these as we go, so don't stress about it. Okay, all righty. So where were we? All right. Let me straighten this up a little bit. Okay. All right. So line up, measure, and they're saying 70 degrees. I got 60. If I can prove I got 60, we'll go with that. But unless this angle's different, let me try it. Yep, this one does show 70. There it is, look at that. Okay? All right. See, this one did show 70. Okay, let's go to example 2 on page 900. Example 2, measure the angle, use a protractor. Now, the unfortunate thing, if you're at home and you don't have one, that's not going to be very easy to do, okay? But one thing, without a protractor, can you tell if this is an obtuse or an acute or right angle? Now, if you forgot how to look for a right angle, use a little piece of paper, a little corner, line it up to the one of the straight lines. It doesn't matter. I like to use and see this here? If it was a right angle, it would be right there. There's your right angle. And you can see the second line, second ray is greater than a right angle. So just looking at this angle, I know it is obtuse, okay? I don't know the exact measurement, but I know it's obtuse because why? It's greater than a right angle. All right, so let's measure it with me. Again, make sure your protractor is right side up, not upside down, because then you have a backward and you might be reading the wrong measurement. Line up the little dot. So if you go like this, or if you try to do it this way and do it at the bottom, again, it's going to be wrong because 0 starts up here, matching this little black line. So you want to, don't worry about this one, you want to just measure it up to one of them. There you go, to this ray, okay? And sometimes this is going to go off the paper, which, you know, it's a little challenge. But anyway, it looks like it's headed to this one. And since we started, this one's at the 0, so we're using the bottom scale. And we're at 130 degrees. So this measured 130 degrees. Line up the angle. Measure the angle, so the angle measures 130 degrees. Be sure that you read the protractor correctly. The angle is obtuse, so choose 125, not 55. Okay, so they're getting 125. I got 130. Am I just not measuring right? You saw it. You did it with me. I'm not getting 125 at all. Guess I could if I angle it more this way. Okay, let's see what that gets. Yep, there it is, 125, okay? So if they say that, go back, measure, and say, well, let me see. Did I not put this precisely correct? And that's how easy it is to mess this up, okay? So it's 125, okay? All right, so that's fine. But 130 is close enough, and most teachers will give that to you, but since it's telling me right here that it should be 125, then let's go back, measure it, and make it 125. And you saw how we did that, okay? All right, so the number across from 125 is 55. So here's 125, and by the way, if it's in between these two, it's 120, 130, so it's 5 between. 5 is that middle mark. Then on top, it would have been 55. So you know that this is obtuse. So 55 degrees is an acute angle, okay? And you know this is not acute, okay? So 55 cannot be the measurement. All right, use a protractor to measure each angle. All right, again, if you don't have a protractor at home, you can't do that. But if you didn't have a protractor, at the very least, you can name them. Name the angle. What do I mean by that? Is it acute? Is it right? Is it obtuse? Okay? And in addition to giving me a degree, if you have a protractor, I also want you to give me this. Why? Because it's good practice and you need to know it anyway, so might as well start learning it. All right, let's go ahead and measure one. Now, I'm looking at this and I'm going, is that a right angle? Sure looks like it. but it doesn't have that square. Remember when it's a right angle, they put that square there? It doesn't have that, which means then this is not a right angle. It's probably very close to a right angle. Not only that, you can always measure it with the, again, a corner of the paper. Line up the end dot, line up the bottom line, and there it is. This line is greater than a right angle. So that's why it is not a right angle. So this angle is more than 90 degrees. So what kind of angle is it? Acute, right, or obtuse? Hopefully you're saying obtuse, okay? So it is definitely an obtuse angle. Why? How do I know? Because it's greater than my L, okay? And now we're going to measure it. So again, put your little end, match up the end points, and match up this line, black line here, with the ray. Okay, got to be very careful. All right. And as you saw, it's really easy to get a different reading, but like I said, most teachers will give it to you if it's pretty close. This looks like it's in between the two numbers. All right, my glasses on. Then again, there we go. Can you guys see that? You cannot see that. Sorry. Okay, try that again. Okay, so there it is. It looks like it's 100 degrees, okay? It's not 80, because if it was 80, it would be an acute angle, okay? So it has to be 100 degrees. So just put it here, 100 degrees, okay? All right, now look at this one. You're like, oh, it's upside down. I can't measure that. Yeah, you can. You have hands, right? Can you guys tell what kind of angle this is? Is it acute, right, or obtuse? Okay, turn it. Turn your buck. Make that angle user-friendly. Okay, so hopefully you guys are recognizing this is less than an L. How do I know? Well, look at that. Can you see the line? Is the line straight with this? Nope. So obviously this is going to be what? Acute. You can kind of see the line. You see the line? It's really faded, but it's right there. Okay, so this is definitely an acute angle. So it's going to measure less than 90 degrees. All right, so again, line my end point. You could even put your pencil here and kind of line it up there, line that. That looks pretty perfect. And let's see where this goes. Oh, it's going to the half. So it is, don't go, oops, sorry. Don't go 85. Look at that. A lot of you will go, oh, it's 85. But remember, the numbers are going this way. So 85 and 90 are here, which means 85 is here. So the half point between this is 70, 80. So the half point is 75. Okay, so you got to be careful. It's not hard, but it requires careful. Okay, it's 75 degrees and it is an acute angle. Okay, all right, and we have one more. Measure the indicated angle on the triangle. All right, so there's your end point, okay? See that? And remember, I write, you write. There's no point in, just me doing the work here. All right. All right, so let's see here. So here's a protractor on this person's face. All right, so we're gonna go this way. Checking my video, see if I can see that. Okay, and put the end point on. This one's red, so it's a little easier to see, or orange. Okay, there it is, it's lined up. And then, oh, this one's kind of nice because it's big. And there it is, it's already telling you. You see that? So it's between 40 and 50, or 130, 140. Well, remember, this one's at the 0 mark, so we're reading it this way. Okay, this one's going 170, 160. It's going backwards, so we want this one. Okay, and you also know this is an acute angle because it's less than 90 degrees. How do I know? There it is, look at it. See, measure it. All right, so this is 40, between 40 and 50, so it's 45 degrees. 45 degrees. And what kind of angle is it? Acute. Okay. All right, so we're at the end of the guided practice. Now we have some independent work here. Again, use a protractor to measure as indicated. Again, you don't have a protractor, so if you don't, remember, recognize acute, obtuse, right angle. So if you look at this, again, right when I look at it, I already know it is not a right angle. It's not obtuse. You can easily use a piece of paper. There it is, corner of a paper. Remember, a right angle is always going to make an L. And as you can see, this angle is less than that. So it is an acute angle. I already measured it. So you want to line up your little dot here, and it's really hard. Sometimes we have to rip the paper out because it is hard to measure. Okay, and I'm getting 70 degrees, okay? This one here, greater than an L. Greater than an L, okay? So obviously it's obtuse, and measuring that again, line up the dot, line up the black line, okay? And take it up, and it's 130 degrees, 130 degrees. The next one here, just by looking at it, acute angle. Now, do you see this one's opening to the left? So you're going to read it on this side, okay? And you always have to start this one at 0. So 0 is going to be the top scale or the bottom scale. You got to remember that, you know, you just have to remember it. It's not hard, it's just a couple little rules here, okay? So as long as this is on that line, it is on 0. Okay? And I'm getting, well, I guess I got 35 degrees. Yeah, 35 degrees. Okay? All right. Yeah, let me see that again. Okay, you can kind of see it there. All right, so it's 35 degrees acute. Everybody should know this one. As soon as you see that little square inside, that means it's squared. And when something is squared, means it's 90 degrees, which means it is a right angle. Okay, automatically. I don't even have to measure it, but if you want me to prove it to you, I will. All right, stick my corner in. Why do I use a piece of paper? Because it's squared. It is a 90-degree angle here. Look at that. Yay, perfect. Okay, so easy one. 90 degrees, right angle. Okay, all right, so now you have these to do. I hope you have a protractor. If you don't, again, then you need to get one, or at least, if you can't get a degree, label them acute, obtuse, right angle. Okay? All right. Thank you for watching.